Shalom, salam, and thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to say a few words at the beginning of your steering committee work as you look forward to the future of sharing and learning in Jerusalem. I was asked to say a few words about how shared education has fared during the COVID-19 crisis here in Northern Ireland. So maybe just to begin by saying a few words about how we dealt with the crisis in schools generally. As in many places, there were lots of debates about when or if schools should close, and eventually they did close as part of our lockdown back in March. There were also lots of debates on when and how they should reopen, and schools eventually did reopen towards the end of August. In a very different environment with lots of new restrictions put in place and new practices to try to deal with prevent the spread of the infection. Our teachers have been working magnificently in these new and challenging circumstances, trying to ensure that the restrictions are applied as best they possibly can be. Despite that, some young people have tested positive and have had to stay at home for periods of time. Students who were in contact with them have had to self-isolate at home. So teachers have been trying to teach under new and challenging circumstances, while at the same time trying to continue to provide remote support for students who are having to spend time temporarily away from school back at home. What then in relation to shared education in this crisis? Well, at a fairly early stage in the process, the Department of Education wrote to all schools in Northern Ireland saying that once the lockdown is over and schools return, there would be no requirement on schools to provide shared education classes for the 2020-2021 school year. It was seen as simply not practical to try and think about students moving between schools whenever, even within individual schools, people were trying to organise bubbles and other groupings so that there would be limited interaction between students within the same school. But the letter went on to say that during this school year, the Department of Education wanted teachers across Northern Ireland to work together across schools to prepare the grounds for the full mainstream of shared education from the 2021-2022 year onwards. And this was important because it shows a clear commitment by the department that shared education and partnership work is the future of our schools in Northern Ireland, and that was very, very important. One of the other things that has come out of this whole period that was, for me, incredibly impressive. After the initial flurry of activity as teachers tried in a matter of days to move schools onto online platforms and to provide support for students after they were staying at home because of the lockdown. There was a huge amount of activity in a very, very short period of time to try and make that happen, and teachers did a magnificent job in that. After that, teachers suddenly started organising their own professional development activities. They didn't wait for the Department of Education or the Education Authority to do stuff for them. They started organising their own online activities. They started sharing resources and materials. They started sharing expertise. They started talking together in online seminars and meetings. And what happened was this huge flurry of activity as people started to connect with one another using all the sort of online systems that we've all now got so used to in such a short period of time, using these as a way of trying to build their own expertise in this very, very difficult situation. And that continues to this day. Teachers are now working together across schools in an extraordinary way. Many of the teachers who are involved in this are teachers who had been involved in shared education partnerships. They knew the value of partnership. They were now using online systems to do it in a much more frequent way than they had done in the past. But it's drawn in lots of teachers from other schools as well. So that by the time we get past this crisis, and it will end, at some point it will end, and we'll get back, not quite to normality, but we'll get back to something that looks more like what we're used to within schools. Once that happens, this spirit of collaboration and partnership that teachers have generated through this online sharing of expertise and experience and materials, I think is going to provide an extraordinarily strong foundation as we move towards a fully shared education system in Northern Ireland. And I hope you're able to find the same spirit and enthusiasm for partnership and learning among teachers in Jerusalem, because this is a way in which we can all work for the common good of all of the young people and for the future of a more cohesive and settled society. Thank you very much, and good luck with your deliberations. I hope it's productive, and I wish you every success for the work that you're doing in the days and months and years ahead. Thank you very much.